Purposeful leadership, adequate planning, effective control, and strategic deployment of human and capital resources. These are the fundamental principles of public administration applied by the ministerial cabinet to deliver on their mandate. Let's present to you a catalog of their various efforts, initiatives, and programs this week on the Minister's platform. Thanks for joining us. Let's keep you abreast with current affairs across federal ministries on Ministry News. The federal government has expressed its determination to reposition the Onne port to maximize its huge potentials in export and import trades. The Minister of Transportation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, made a disclosure this week at Onne, Rivers State, as part of a 3-day fact-finding tour to ascertain why the port is not performing at maximum capacity. On the issue of the dilapidated access road to the Onne port, the minister assured that Sukuk 4 will take care of that, adding that it would liaise with its counterpart in the Ministry of Works and Housing to see how it can be fast-tracked. Other facilities visited by the minister were Integrated Logistics Services Terminal, International Container Terminal, Onne Multipurpose Terminal, and Brawal.
There's a potential here with generating a lot of jobs for our youths. So these projects must honestly resume in earnest. And I look into it immediately. I go back to Abuja. If you are able to continue with this development, you will attract more cargo this way.
The Minister of Transportation, Muazu Sambo, has expressed optimism that within the next 90 days, the ministry will secure a facility for the takeoff of the Regional Maritime Development Bank. He stated this Wednesday while playing host to the Secretary General, Maritime Organization of West and Central Africa, MOCA, Dr. Paul Adaluku, who was in his office on a courtesy visit. Sambo noted that efforts made to acquire accommodation through the CBN are yet to yield expected outcome, promising to seek the help of the Attorney General of the Federation to see if one of the forfeited properties can be allocated to the bank. Speaking further, Muazu urged the Secretary General to leverage on MOCA as a regional bank to push Nigeria's quest of becoming member of Category C in International Maritime Organization, IMO. The federal government Wednesday said 10 states were to contribute 1,000 megawatts of off-grid electricity to the quantum of power being produced across the country. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, disclosed this during the 40th National Solar Energy Forum held at the National Defense Academy, Kaduna. The minister was represented by the Minister of State for Power, Godi Jedi Agba, noted that the Buhari administration is fully committed to the global decarbonization drive. The minister, however, noted that to achieve Nigeria's commitment to climate change, the federal government was implementing different initiatives targeted at achieving at least 30,000 megawatts generation by 2030, with 30% from renewable energy sources. The Minister of Health, Osage Ehanire, has attributed the 35% malaria prevalence cases in Niger State to low usage of mosquito nets among residents of the state. The minister said this when he led a delegation from the National Malaria Elimination Program, NMEP, and other malaria control partners on an advocacy visit on the 2022 Insecticide Treated Nets campaign to Governor Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger State in Minna on Wednesday. Represented by the head Integrated Vector Management Branch of NMEP of the Federal Ministry of Health, Okefu Okoko, the minister disclosed that Global Fund was supporting Niger State with 11.9 billion naira for 3 years to be used for different aspects of malaria intervention, such as provision of drugs, nets, seasonal malaria, chemo prevention, and rapid malaria test kits. He, however, appealed to the state government to pay its counterpart funds of 1.7 billion naira to ensure that malaria parasite prevalence was reduced below 10% before 2025 and reduce mortality. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is set to conduct the deworming of 10 million primary school pupils enrolled into the National Homegrown School Feeding Program to boost the health status of pupils. The Minister, Sadiya Umaru Farouk, made the declaration in Kano on Wednesday at the opening of a training of trainers for the implementation of the National Deworming and School Feeding Program. Sadiya Farouk said the exercise will be implemented in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health. The Minister of Police Affairs, Dr. Mohammed Dingyadi, Thursday inaugurated a committee to set up the legal framework for the Nigeria Police Force institutions in the country. The minister pointed out that the government initiated the idea of legalizing the existence of the training institutions to enable them to be relevant, active and functional, as well as enjoy better funding. Dingyadi reiterated the commitment of government to reform the Nigerian police force and hoped that the committee will key into the aspiration and ensure it becomes a reality. He assured the committee of the federal government's cooperation and support to enable them discharge their duty and urged the committee to pay special attention to the checklist from the Ministry of Justice to enable them to come out with a good framework that will guide the running of the institutions. The federal government on Thursday presented certificates of registration and sales permit to authorized fertilizer dealers in Nigeria. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ernest Umakihi, who presented the certificates and sales permits to the fertilizers operators in Abuja, said the government had trained and deployed fertilizer and agricultural pesticides quality control inspectors to the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. He said the inspectors were currently working with relevant security agencies to ensure compliance with the provisions of stipulated regulations in order to protect farmers and industries in the country. The federal government, through a team from the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, led by the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Suzette Taylor Lishi, paid a courtesy call on the Nasarawa State Governor, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, to inspect the Lafia Cargo Airport in Nasarawa State ahead of the final takeover of the facility. The airport, which is part of strategies to increase the investment potentials and opportunities of the state, was intended to ease cargo traffic at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. And finally, on ministry news, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dari, has said the federal government will grant the Nigeria Golf Federation, NGF, some of the funds due to it to enable it support the game of golf in the country. The minister gave the assurance Thursday in his address to the captains of 70 golf clubs and other stakeholders from across the country at the first Nigeria Golf Federation Summit in Abuja. Mr. Dari also urged the NGF board, led by Otumba Olusegun Ransewe, to resuscitate the Nigeria Golf Open Championship last held in 1999.
Greatest excitement will come from how you find, you nurture and develop young golfers. The young golfer you saw there, she was introduced to me as Minister of Youth and Sports. We gave her our best wishes. We followed her as she traveled across the world, and especially in the US. We got the president interested in our exploits. You recall the president congratulated her. The radar is on you, and it speaks to the power of golf. Find young golfers that are talented, bring them to us at the ministry. We will support them. We will work with the Federation to develop their skills and advance their career.
What were the recent official engagements of the president this week? Let's bring you the details from the presidency. President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged to support 500,000 Nigerians that are victims of flood disasters based on regular updates received by the president on the flood situation in the country since January this year. Apart from providing the needed emergency assistance to individuals and communities impacted by the disaster, the president invited other public-spirited individuals and organizations to support in the need of urgent help in the affected communities. He, however, urged inhabitants of flood-prone areas to always adhere to the early warning advisories as issued by the organizations saddled with climate monitoring and disaster management. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed 7 new bills into law. The signing of the bill was announced by Nasiru Ila, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters. The bills include the Meteorological Agency Establishment Act 2022, Pharmacy Council of Nigeria Establishment Act 2022, Civil Aviation Act 2006, and the Aviation Bill 2022. Others are the National Institute of Credit Administration Establishment Act 2022, Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners Establishment Act 2022, and the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria Act 2022. President Muhammadu Buhari has stated that Nigerians will appreciate his government in 6 months. The president spoke when he received members of the Progressive Governors Forum, led by its chairman, Governor Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi State, at the State House, Abuja, citing the outcome of the Ekiti, Anambra, and Osun States governorship elections. The president assured Nigerians of his desire to bequeath a strong political institution through non-interference in elections. This, he noted, will give credence to the political process, ensure participation and inclusiveness, and of course show that the governing party respects the electorate. President Muhammadu Buhari has facilitated with the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Hassan Kuka, as he turned 70 recently. The president, through his special advisor and publicity, Femi Adesina, in a statement, appreciated the contributions of the priest, teacher, scholar, and writer to the national discourse, while asking God to grant the celebrant long life, good health, and strength. President Muhammadu Buhari has condoned with the Russian people and government over the death of former Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev, who died recently at the age of 91 on Tuesday. President Buhari described the late Gorbachev as a remarkable gentleman whose reformist agenda fundamentally changed the Soviet society through its policy of perestroika and glasnost, both of which set the stage for economic and political transformation of his own country and that of others in the defunct Soviet Union. And finally, from the presidency, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Ahmed Alilu as the substantive managing director of the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company, NSPMC PLC. Alilu has over 23 years of experience in the banking sector, having worked with the African International Bank Limited, AIB, and Zenith Bank PLC. He was the Executive Director, Corporate Services of NSPMC before he started acting as the Managing Director. The Federal Ministry of Interior has undergone remarkable reformation and transformation since the Honorable Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, took over the leadership of the ministry. Let's get to find out significant giant strides of the minister in this second part interview, Talking with the Minister. So let's look at the capacity building programs by your ministry to actually ensure productivity and efficiency.
First of all, let's talk about recruitment. We have computerized everything about recruitment, from application to screening to ultimate appointment is computerized. On capacity building, there is a board in charge of all the agencies that we have: Fire, Civil Defense, Immigration, and Correctional Service Board. The board is responsible for all of these: recruitment, promotion, discipline, and development programs for capacity building through the board. The agencies too do such things on their own, but the board is at top of that, ensuring that training, capacity building, and exposure to world best practices are effectively done. We are reviewing the curriculum of study in all the training institutions. And I want to believe that nothing is being spared to motivate our staff, our personnel, particularly at the agency level. We are doing our best.
During your Salah message, you said Nigerians should also be very cautious and also help the security agencies. Because in the UK, in the US, you find that each citizen is ready to give out information about insecurity, about threat to the necessary agencies. Do you think it will be proper or adequate to launch a serious campaign to awaken the consciousness of Nigerians to also be very security conscious?
The elimination or discouragement of ethnic profiling. We must just agree that we want to build a nation. Difficult, but we should accept that it's in our interest that a nation is built from Nigeria. It's unfortunate that in the inner recess of most Nigerian elite, that consciousness is lacking. There is no doubt we need support of all to secure ourselves, property, and our space. Without the people, the limited number of security operatives we have cannot do anything. What is called architecture of security is a pyramid. At the very base of that pyramid are the people who must support all the other essential segments of that pyramid. Without the people ready and willing to expose whoever threatens their security, there is nothing the other segments can do. At the apex of that pyramid is the military. When crisis gets to insurrectional stage, then the military will come, and that's why they are the apex of the security pyramid. So the people must understand why they cannot detach themselves from other segments, namely vigilante group cooperating with police and civil defense cooperating with themselves, working together to douse threats before they get out of hand. So if we all understand this, honestly speaking, there will not be any threat anywhere. I just hope and I believe that the media will drop the gap of adversarial journalism. If you just know that we are building democracy and that democracy is just a tool for development. Development means engagement of all, mobilization of all to take us step by step through the ladder of development. And support and cooperate with all those who are engaged in that effort. Yes, chastise whoever is getting out of line. I am not saying you should tolerate people who are not committed to development. I'm not saying so. I'm saying that journalism must first of all be committed to developing the people and ensuring that their conditions of living are better. So to that extent, I want to appeal to our media from the practitioners to the management to please support a developmental campaign that will bring us to our historic role and height in this continent and the world.
Ministry of Interior has a strategic role to play in the security architecture of the country. So Nigerians would like to know how effectively has your ministry actually lived up to the expectation of Nigerians with regards to internal security, which is actually a major core of your mandate, considering the high level of insecurity.
I will respond by telling you that we know clearly that we are the major organ of the state in charge of internal security. But we need the support of all the other important agencies to ensure that the security of Nigerians, their property, and even the space itself is guaranteed. To achieve that objective of adequate security, we need the buy-in and the support of all the security and intelligence forces. To the best of my knowledge, we have been having a wonderful synergy with all those agencies. Yes, Nigerians are sadly not having the best that we want ourselves. But it is not without effort on our part. It's just that you get this sort of disappointments even in the best that you put forward. The assurance I want to give to Nigerians is so simple. We are not relenting. We are committed to securing lives and property. And I'm assuring Nigerians that the past is gone. We are turning a new leaf, and before the end of this year, before December, God willing, we are going to have a better security condition. We are working with the military, we are working with the police, and we are equally using our own agencies, coupled with the intelligence organizations, the SSS, the DSS, and all the other agencies that I will not want to mention. We are confident that we will put the challenges that we have now behind us.
Can you tell us what is so challenging about internal security, especially with a country like Nigeria?
The real problem is not with the enemies of the state. For the enemies of the state, we can really deal with them and put them quickly behind us. But the elite in Nigeria are not too conscious of what their role should be and how they should rally around government to manage some of the crisis which some elements exploit to disturb our peace. Is there any society without conflict? It can only be in heaven. There is none. But what to have in those societies where the conflict do not snowball into major crisis is agreement with themselves first and the state authority government not to celebrate the conflict. If our elites are going to be honest with themselves, they will know clearly it's not about failure of effort. It's about ourselves not wanting to accept roles that will support the government to exterminate the crisis that we have. And let me tell you something. Before the advent of our administration, President Muhammadu Buhari administration, I don't think there was any local government in Borno that was something like the occupation of the insurgents. Today, not 1 inch, square inch of Northeast is under the control of any insurgent. So I will reduce problems or the challenges around the crisis we have to lack of consensus among the elite of Nigerians to really support government to suppress and eliminate these things.
Thank you very much, Minister. Recently, you were in Port Harcourt. You were quite bothered about the racketeering of e-passport. You've actually expressed your position, really, when it has to do with this passport issue. What are the significant innovative areas in terms of improving in the design, security features, production, and issuance of the Nigerian e-passport document? Are there challenges with regards to availability? Because it's an issue. Recently, you cleared the air and said, look, we have enough. We're also talking about accessibility and affordability, both locally and international. Maybe you want to shed light on this.
Thank you for bringing this up. That is one area that have actually devoted a lot of my time, because I know that if there be a legacy that will be quite enduring and visible, yes, it is in passport administration. So I'm very much committed to it. And we have done quite a lot. We have transformed passport issuance administration so significantly. And I hope Nigerians listening to me will support us by simply shunning any attraction to a third party in passport application. You don't need it. You can process your passport application either for a new passport or a renewal of the one you already have by yourself. It does not take 5 minutes to apply digitally online using any internet-enabled device. Pay online. You will instantly have your appointment slip online, which you can print out. And on that appointment slip is everything you need to take to your enrollment center. What's the enrollment center? And we're going to have very many very soon. We are working on having very many. The challenge today, and why we still have some complaints, is that the volume of applicants, people that will have to go through the passport control offices, is huge. By the time we really liberalize, we open up enrollment centers in such a way that there will be no congestion, there will be no pressure. The date and time you will go for data capture. What is data capture? Data capture is, one, synchronizing details on your application form with what you have in your NIMC NIN document. So, if your name is arranged in such a way that it does not rhyme with what you have on your NIMC record for NIN, you will not be captured. Two, we will equally take your fingerprints, which must be the same with what you have on the NIMC database, and your facial photograph, which must be taken there. So when all the essential biodata is taken and harmonized, then you wait for 3 weeks if your request for renewal or reissue, and 6 weeks maximum if you want a fresh passport. The desperation you put yourself through will lead you to scammers, to racketeers, and people will simply exploit you. At every passport processing office in Nigeria, we have enough passport booklet. Look at what I've lined out. Is it possible for us to exhaust what we have? It's just simply impossible. But the exploiter ring, I don't want to call it criminal ring, around this process is almost at an industrial level. So we need the support of Nigerians to first of all abandon them. Believe me, that they don't need anybody. And that once there is general understanding of that, the game will be up for the scammers. I'm assuring Nigerians that there is no shortage of booklet. Wherever and whenever such argument is given, tell whoever says that to you that you are a scammer. And that you have no business being where you are. Whoever that person is, tell him that the Minister of Interior has said that there is no shortage of booklet for passport processing in Nigeria. We just have difficult, dirty, and irresponsible people who want to mess up our well-designed, well-implemented, and by the grace of God, well-executed innovation to ease passport processing.
With the expiration of this administration in 2023, what are the legacies you are leaving behind? And what are the projected plans, for the limited period for the various agencies under your ministry to also position them for efficiency?
We are working on innovation. There can't be an end to innovation. Reducing human-to-human contact in virtually everything we do will be the best for all of us. The human beings are complex entities. You can't be sure what we can do when interests conflict with duty. So the projection is we will not relent in seeking solution to every operation we do here that will reduce person-to-person contact. As to legacy, that is not my own duty. It's the duty of history. Let history judge what I do or what I fail to do. But I'm satisfied that I'm passionately committed to ensuring that our mandate of safety, security, and citizenship integrity are pursued with vigor and passion.
On a final note, as a passing shot, what's your word of encouragement and assurance to all Nigerians in diaspora, the diplomatic community, and other stakeholders for an efficient, progressive ministry?
Well, simple. We shall not leave any stone unturned to ensure that the safety of Nigerians, security of their lives and property, and integrity of their citizenship are not compromised. In doing it, we appeal to our citizens, to our people, to support us by whatever way and means possible. Consular visa processing is being digitized for businesses bringing in partners. You don't need to wait endlessly to get visa. Apply online for visa on arrival and you get it. We launched a Nigerian visa policy which changed the categories of visa from 6 to 79. It's a work-based, profession-based, operation-based. We partnered with some Nigerian private companies to have visa processing centers worldwide. As for business men and women in Nigeria, if you are bringing your foreign partners, you don't need to endlessly wait at the embassy for visa. Apply online for your visa on arrival, and your partners can come in at will. And we expect you to live up to all the obligations, immigration responsibilities of such visitors. Do not keep them beyond the period they are allowed to stay. And should you need any other service or operation, please feel free to meet us at our various offices in the immigration service.
Federal Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, on the Minister's platform. Thank you very much for being with us. And we want to wish you all the best in your endeavor. To be honest, you've actually struck a chord. And if you don't even want to talk about your legacies are there to be proud of because of the revolutionary change you've brought to internal security in the country. Thank you, sir.
I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Well, that's it on Talking with the Minister, speaking with the Federal Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. He has been able to very systematically help us to understand and appreciate the great efforts of this ministry because for him, digitization of the operations of the ministry has been at the core level of ensuring efficiency and acceptability, of course, world best practices, all in the name to ensure that the Ministry of Interior is well positioned. Thank you for watching. The Minister's platform will continue in a moment. Stay tuned. On our ministry, agencies, and parastatals in focus segment today, we bring you facts you need to know about the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI. The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, was established in 1992 by the federal government after the recommendations of the White Paper Committee in 1991 report of a 150-member National Committee on Engineering Infrastructure Committee on Engineering Infrastructure, comprising scientists, engineers, administrators, federal and state civil servants, economists, lawyers, bankers, and industrialists. The mandate of NASENI is specifically in the area of capital goods research, production, and reverse engineering. NASENI, by its mandate and scope of operation, is a Nigerian-only purpose-built agency designed to conduct developmental work in the areas of manufacturing, and as such, it is capable of coordinating the proliferation of technologies developed either within or outside of its centers, including patents obtained, technologies developed in the areas of spares, components, and systems engineering are to be transferred to entrepreneurs for the production of goods and services. Nigeria can have the benefit of a rapid technological development by strengthening NASENI. The mission of NASENI is to establish and nurture appropriate and dynamic science and engineering infrastructure base for achieving home-initiated and home-sustained industrialization through the development of relevant processes, capital goods, and equipment necessary for job creation, national economic well-being, and progress. A vision is therefore set to create an enabling knowledge-driven environment for local mass production, standard parts, goods and services required for the nation's technology advancement. The mandate of NASENI is specifically in the area of capital goods research, production, and engineering with respect to the following broad areas: engineering materials, industrial and analytical chemical materials, scientific equipment and components, engineering equipment, engineering designs and standardization, and of course, power equipment. In a bid to fulfill its mandate, NASENI established various development institutes in order to provide science infrastructure such as the primary science kit (PSK) required to demystify supplies, for example, burette, pipette, and equipment for capacity engineering, to foundry technology, develop engineering designs and disseminate same to SMEs in order to standardize Nigerian-made products and make them globally competitive, assist other stakeholders in identifying needs and provide information for critical choices for joint venturing, define and maintain best practices within and without its institutes. In pursuance and fulfillment of its mandate, the agency established several mono-mandate institutes spread across the country. The chairman of the NASENI Governing Board is the President, Muhammadu Buhari, while Engineer Professor Aruno, FNSE, is the Executive Vice Chairman of NASENI Board and CEO.
The fact that there are no strict laws that governs or guides tenants.
For like 2 years now, and I have not seen one person ask me to pay 1 year.
I like this city because of the opportunity, job opportunities.
A lot of foreign citizens are in Nigeria. Has a lot of cases, but as we have Nigerians, we have second thought for people. We do the needful to allow the legal policies to take place. I advise the Nigerian government, if Buhari as a leader and president who has the interest of his people at heart to act very, very positively, they should put in place, like the House of Assembly, Senate, Upper House and Lower House, to sit on this issue and think and legislate on how the needful should be done to all Nigerians who are outside Nigerian shore, and legislate law into it. and let the foreign government know they've heard a lot about Nigerian suffering abroad.
First of all, we'll consult the foreign bodies where those Nigerian refugees are there languishing. They should liaise with the government over there so that they can see if there's a way they can help them out.
The truth is that we don't even care about our citizens. That's number one. And then what can be done? The situation is here now. For those that are not having criminal cases, it's possible. But I don't think we can intervene in their laws. Some of them are being jailed for one offenses or the other. I don't know how the government can help in that direction, but the genuine Nigerians who are really just stranded, government can help those ones.
First of all, we need God's intervention in this kind of situation, because you can be in jail in Nigeria as a Nigerian without having done anything wrong. It can still happen to you in foreign country. You can get involved in something you don't know. First of all, they will take you to jail. So if we beg God to give us wisdom that will affect our leaders to go to that country, find out their offense. If it's a bailable offense, bail them from that country, bring them back to Nigeria here, then give them a job. You will see them behave properly.
On the minister's platform every week, hold us accountable for fresh progress report across federal ministries, agencies and parastatals to enable you make informed judgment. Keep it locked on the minister's platform on TV Nigeria. Thanks for watching.